Janky World took over Big Brother 26 during Week 9, pushing the house guests to the brink. Here's why it was the worst twist in the show's history. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Big Brother 26 has just ended its latest twist, in which the house guests had to live in the backyard during Week 9 in a carnival called Janky World, and it was the worst twist in the show's history. During Big Brother 26 Week 9, Ainsley left the 8 remaining house guests with another AI entity named Jankie, which stood for Junior Artificial Neurokinetic Intelligence Entity. The house guests who experienced Janky World were Angela Murray, Cam Sullivan-Brown, Chelsea Baham, Kimo Apaka, Leah Peters, Mackenzie Manbeck, Rubina Bernabe, and Tikor Claudy. Janky World was, as Kimo described it, like being held hostage by a toddler from hell. In the Big Brother 26 Janky World, the house guests were subject to a never-ending carnival, in which the house guests could only eat pizza and ice cream. They were also forced to participate in singing and dancing parties whenever Janky wanted them to, no matter what was happening. They were stuck outside for a week in the heat, with only cots to sleep on and portable toilets to use. Although it first seemed as though Janky World might be a fun twist, it was actually the worst one in Big Brother history. Big Brother 26 has an AI theme, so it made sense that a junior intelligence entity such as Janky took over the week. However, the AI twists stopped there. Other Big Brother 26 weeks included AI technology, which was thrilling to see. Quinn Martin took over Angela's head of household, Ho, Rain, with his deepfake Ho upgrade, in which he controlled an AI avatar of Angela and made his nominations as her. In addition, Tucker DeLauriers used the avatars to send messages when he was the AI instigator. The Janky World Carnival seemed very out of place with its old-fashioned games and lack of technology. Although Janky was there, he was the only thing that connected to the AI theme. It was a strange break from the Big Brother 26 theme, which interrupted the flow of the game. Unlike the Big Brother 24 split house twist, which separated the house guests by forcing some of them to live inside and some to live outside of the house, the Janky World twist didn't really accomplish anything game-wise. It didn't break apart alliances by placing them in separate living quarters or force people to work together like in the Big Brother 24 Festy Bestie twist. All it did was push the house guests to their breaking points. The Janky World twist is one of the worst ever because it was so inconsequential. While it culminated in frontrunner Tikor Claudy's eviction, it wasn't really that shocking considering that the majority of the house guests wanted to break up the trio of Rubina, Kimo, and Tikor. It would have been better to skip this twist and allow the house guests to continue to play traditional Big Brother with their normal secret strategizing. Because the Big Brother 26 house guests were trapped outside in the backyard for a week, they didn't have the ability to sneak off into the different rooms of the house and strategize together. This made scheming very difficult for them. Janky World disrupted the normal flow of strategy talk, which made the live feeds boring to watch. Privacy is needed in order for Big Brother to be played properly. The Janky World twist made for one of the most tame weeks strategy-wise in the history of the game. It would have been impossible for the blind sides and backdoors of the past to happen in Janky World because there was really no place to hide. Suspicions would be raised if the house guests teamed up with people with whom they didn't normally interact. Janky World made playing the traditional game of Big Brother nearly impossible. While it was entertaining and somewhat funny at first to see the house guests singing the Janky World song JANKIE/Janky, Janky, you love mess, /JANKIE/Janky, Janky, let's party, and being forced to have dance parties, and later their expletive-filled reactions to having to sing and dance on command. After a while, it was hard to watch. The Janky World song was repetitive and drove the house guests and viewers crazy. It's hard to believe that making the Big Brother 26 house guests sing and dance on command was the best the producers could think of for a twist. It felt very lazy and thrown together. It definitely didn't live up to the standards of some of the best Big Brother twists. The Janky song was just another example of how the Janky World twist was one of the worst in the history of the show, because its only purpose was to torture the house guests. Perhaps if it later became part of a competition, such as counting how many times it was sung or memorizing the new lyrics, it would have been better. In Janky World, the Big Brother 26 house guests had to deal with some very harsh conditions. They were only allowed to eat pizza and ice cream, which left Leah begging for vegetables. They were baking in the sun, and they had nowhere to go if they wanted to be alone. The nonstop punishments were not only taxing on the house guests' mental health, but they were hard for viewers to watch on both the live feeds and the CBS episodes. The purpose of Big Brother isn't to push people to their breaking point and challenge their resolve, but rather to have them strategize in a game that requires physical, mental, emotional, and social strength. It's not Survivor or Special Forces, World's toughest test. While being the have-not has been part of the game for many years, those conditions are nothing compared to what the house guests endured in Janky World. It seemed completely unnecessary to put the house guests through something so mentally taxing, especially when it didn't seem to serve any purpose. Because of the fact that the house guests all had to live together in the backyard, there was no escaping each other. One example of how this negatively affected them was when Chelsea became upset with Cam for moving his cot closer to Mackenzie's. Chelsea has a crush on Cam, which has caused her to have some emotional reactions to his interactions with the other women. In the past, when Chelsea was angry with Cam, she simply left the room, but there was no way for her to fully get away from the situation in Janky World. Cam was confused about why Chelsea was upset, and it turned into a very dramatic situation that didn't need happen. This kind of drama might work on shows such as The Bachelor, but it's out of place on a reality competition show like Big Brother. The house guests should have been able to focus on their games without being forced to stay in situations that made them uncomfortable. Janky World might have been more exciting if it had more incentives for the house guests to survive it. There could have been a luxury competition that awarded a house guest with a fantastic prize or even money. Luxury prizes force house guests to make tough decisions about whether they should win them or not, as sometimes they make them targets for eviction because they've already won something. However, after everything the house guests suffered through, it would have made it worth it. In addition, there didn't seem to be any punishments for house guests who weren't as enthusiastic about Janky's demands. Knowing that they might be subject to some sort of negative consequence might have encouraged them to participate more, rather than just go through the motions at the end of the week. It would have made Janky World more bearable to watch if the stakes were higher for the Big Brother 26 house guests. When Lee won the Janky World Ho competition, she was disappointed when she found out that she wouldn't have her AHSOKA room. Instead, she received a basket to take out to the backyard with her. This also meant that Lee couldn't have private one-on-one conversations in the AHSOKA room, nor could she watch the house guests on the AHSOKA bedroom screen. The Janky World twist would have put the AHSOKA at a disadvantage no matter who it was, but it was especially sad to see it happen to Leah. It was her first AHSOKA win, and she didn't get the chance to fully experience it. One could argue that it's part of the game, but again, the Janky World twist didn't feel like the game. Instead, it felt like an unnecessary experience for all of the house guests, but especially Leah. When the Janky veto was revealed on the Big Brother 26 live feeds, there was a lot of excitement about a new power being introduced into the game. Angela had won the golden power of veto by fitting candy-shaped puzzle pieces into a circle, while Lee had won the Janky veto by coming in second in the competition. However, Lee couldn't even decide whether she wanted to use it because she had to win a classic carnival game in which she had to knock down milk bottles with a ball in order to earn that privilege. Lee didn't win the game, so the Janky veto went to waste. Leah's loss made it impossible for her to even decide to use the Janky veto, which took the excitement out of the power. After Quinn's deepfake Ho was spoiled because he didn't keep it a secret, and Tucker's AI instigator power was a bust because he didn't reveal much through his fellow house guests' avatars, it was intriguing that another power was introduced into the game. However, the rules for the Janky veto made it harder to use. Imagine the disappointment if one of the nominees had won it, but then didn't win the game to use it. This is what proves that it was a failure. Much like the Big Brother 25 Zombie Week twist, in which gameplay was halted in order for Cameron Hardin and Jared Fields to try to win their way back into the house, Janky World slowed down Big Brother 26. It somewhat stopped the house guests from really playing.